Hello students, welcome back. In the previous class, we have discussed about the plasma membrane, and before that we have discussed about the cell wall. So we have completed the cell wall and cell membrane. Now we are moving on to the inner part within the cell. It is called cytoplasm. Cytoplasm. So this cytoplasm can also be called as cytosol, are also called as hyaloplasm. Hyaloplasm. So already you know that cytoplasm, it is the semi-fluid matrix of the cell. It is the semi-fluid matrix. Cytoplasm, it is the semi-fluid matrix which is present inner to the plasma membrane. See, for example, if we take the animal cell or plant cell, so just within the plasma membrane, whatever the fluid matrix you can see, this is called as cytoplasm. And cytoplasm can also be called as cytosol or hyaloplasm. So hyaloplasm is nothing but it is like a transparent fluid. That's why it is called hyaloplasm. And this cytoplasm, it actually exists in two forms. This cytoplasm can exist in two forms. One is called as a solid and other one is called as gel. This cytoplasm within the cell, it exists in the form of two types. One is called as a solid, other one is called as gel. They are respectively called as plasmasol and plasma gel. As I said, the cytoplasm, it exists in two forms. One is called as a plasmasol, other one is called as a plasma gel. Then where exactly this plasma gel is present? See, just below the plasma membrane, the fluid matrix which is present just below the plasma membrane. You know, this is the plasma membrane. Just below the plasma membrane, what the fluid matrix you can see. So this fluid matrix is called as plasma gel. Plasma gel, it is present just below the plasma membrane. And this plasma gel, it is also called as ectoplast. It is also called ectoplast. And this plasmasol, it is the internal fluid. So this is plasmasol. It is the internal fluid and it is called as endoplast. So cytoplasm, it is the semi-fluid matrix within the cell or just below the plasma membrane, and it can exist in two forms. One is called as a solid, other one is called as gel. They are respectively called as plasmasol and plasma gel. So this plasma gel, it is present just below the plasma membrane, and it is also called as ectoplast. Whereas this plasmasol, it is the internal fluid, also called as endoplast. And this cytoplasm comprises of 19% of water. So cytoplasm comprises of 90% of water. And it is also called as crystallocolloidal complex. Crystallocolloidal complex. Because within the cytoplasm we can find various structures like a membranous cell organelle, non-membranous organelles like ribosomes, etc. and the rhizophilic material, etc. So all these are present in the form of crystals. So all these are present in the form of crystals within the cytoplasm. That's why it is also called as crystallocolloidal complex. Then when we come to the functions of ribosomes are there, endoplasmic reticulum is there, Golgi complex is there. So all these membrane-bound cell organelles, they need certain raw materials, and all those raw materials will be available in this cytoplasm. So cytoplasm, it comprises of raw materials. It consists of raw materials which are required for the functioning of these membrane-bound cell organelles. So all the membrane-bound cell organelles, they require some raw materials which are usually present within the cytoplasm. That is one function. And the next function is that the exchange of materials between the cell organelles will be taking place through cytoplasm. For example, here some materials will be there. For example, the endoplasmic reticulum, it can synthesize lipids, proteins, etc. And the mitochondria can synthesize ATP. If this endoplasmic reticulum, it requires ATP, so the mitochondria has to provide ATP. So how it cannot directly provide that ATP to the endoplasmic reticulum, whereas so from the mitochondria, the ATP will be released into the cytoplasm. Later, this endoplasmic reticulum can take up the ATP. ATP is nothing but energy. Energy is stored in the form of ATP. That's why I am mentioning here is ATP. So here, the exchange of materials will be taking place. Again, to take the same example, if proteins are synthesized in this endoplasmic reticulum and those proteins are required by the mitochondria, then again they cannot directly give to this mitochondria. Instead of that, the proteins which will be released into the cytoplasm, from the cytoplasm, mitochondria can take up the proteins. That is called exchange of materials. The exchange of materials between the cellular organs will be taking place through cytoplasm. And next function is that the products synthesized by the cellular organelles which will be released into the cytoplasm. As I already mentioned, as mitochondria synthesizes ATP, the product of mitochondria is ATP that will be released into the cytoplasm. Similarly, the endoplasmic reticulum, if it synthesizes lipids, the products will be released into the cytoplasm. If endoplasmic reticulum synthesizes proteins, again all those products will be released into the cytoplasm. Later, those products can get exchanged. So firstly, the products are released into the cytoplasm, then exchange of materials will be taking place. Then the next function is that it is the site for various cellular activities. Various cellular activities. You will study in the photosynthesis chapter, in the respiration chapter. So most of the cellular activities will be taking place in the cytoplasm. That's why cytoplasm is called as site for various cellular activities. And the last function is that it is the place for the synthesis of various biochemicals. Synthesis of various biochemicals like proteins, lipids, carbohydrates, etc. So all these biochemicals can be synthesized within this cytoplasm. That's why it is the site for the synthesis of various biochemicals. So that is about the cytoplasm. We need to know very little about the cytoplasm. So cytoplasm, it is a semi-fluid matrix. It can exist in two forms, soil and gel. And you know where exactly the soil is present and where exactly the gel is present. And the functions of cytoplasm, you know. Next, we need to discuss about the cell organelles. Cell organelles. Earlier I have mentioned that the endoplasmic reticulum, chloroplast, ribosomes, etc. So all these are called as cell organelles. Then what exactly the cell organelles? The cell organelles are nothing but they are subcellular structures. Subcellular in the sense they are present within the cell. They are subcellular structures and they have distinct morphological features. All the cell organelles, they have distinct morphological features and they have unique chemical composition or distinctive chemical composition and they have different shape. They have definite shape. You can observe. So the shape is different from one another. Again, the function is also entirely different. They have definite structure and definite function. Each and every cell organelle, they are subcellular because they are present within the cell, and they have the unique morphological features, distinctive chemical composition. Each and every cell organelle having a different chemical composition, and they perform different function. And see, for example, when we look at the mitochondria is meant for respiration. So that is the specific function or definite function. Similarly, chloroplast, it mainly takes part in photosynthesis. Likewise, they have definite functions. So that is about cell organelles. And in the next upcoming classes, we are discussing each and every cell organelle in detail. Whatever the cell organelles which are present within the cytoplasm, so all the cell organelles we need to discuss in detail. Before that, we should have some knowledge about endomembrane system. Endomembrane system. So what is this endomembrane system? See, you can find the membranes within the cell. I mean to say, you can find the membrane around the mitochondria, around the chloroplast, and endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex. So all these, they contain a membrane, and that membrane can separate the cell into structural and functional compartments. They are nothing but organelles. So what the cell organelles we are saying here, they are nothing but the compartments. They are the structural and the functional compartments are also called as organelles. That is called as endomembrane system. So what is endomembrane system? Here the membrane will separate the cell into many structural and functional compartments called as endomembrane system. And here when we look at the cell, generally in case of eukaryotic cell, here we will find different cell organelles, and each and every cell organelle is different in terms of their definite structure and function. You can look at the cell organelles. Each and every cell organelle is definite in terms of structure and function. Their structure is different and their function is different, but even though they differ in their structure and function, some organelles are considered as the part of endomembrane system. I will tell you the examples. So some organelles, they have here within the cell, there are many cell organelles. So some of the cell organelles are considered as the part of the endomembrane system because their functions are coordinated with one another. See, try to understand. Here I told you their structure is different, their function is different. But some organelles, they will function in coordination with each other. Coordination with each other in the sense, for example, from one organelle, another organelle may go into arise, or two organelles can perform a similar function. That is what I am saying, the coordination. So here certain organelles, they will function with coordination with each other, and simply we can say that the endomembrane system, it is grouping of some membranous organelles which functions in close coordination with one another. You will come to know and you will understand in the later classes how one organelle will be producing the other organelle, how their functions are coordinated with one another. So all those things you can study later. Here endomembrane system, it is the grouping of membranous organelles which functions in close coordination with each other. And in case of eukaryotic cell, the endomembrane system includes the endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosomes, and values. So these are the major organelles which are mainly involved, are considered as the part of endomembrane system. Along with that, they have endosomes, system. Here G refers to Golgi complex, ER refers to endoplasmic reticulum, and L refers to lysosomes. So in general, in eukaryotic cell, the endomembrane system includes endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi complex, lysosomes mainly. Along with these three, vacuoles, endosomes and cell membrane are also regarded as a part of the endomembrane system. And the remaining cell organelles like mitochondria, chloroplast, peroxisomes, glyoxysomes, these are all not considered as the part of endomembrane system. So why they are not considered as the part of the endomembrane system? Because their functions are not coordinated. Each and every cell organelle, what I mentioned like mitochondria, chloroplast, they will perform specific or definite function. But their functions are not at all coordinated, hence they are not regarded as the part of endomembrane system. So firstly, what is endomembrane system? The membrane that separates the cell into many structural and functional compartments or organelles is called endomembrane system. And here the cell organelles, they are usually definite in their structure and function, but even though some of them are considered as part of the endomembrane system in eukaryotic cell, these are the organelles, membranous organelles, which function with coordination with each other. Hence, these are only the part of the endomembrane system, but the remaining organelles, their functions are not coordinated and they are not considered as a part of the endomembrane system. So this completes the cytoplasm and endomembrane system. So in the next class onwards, we need to take up each and every cell organelle. So we need to discuss each and every cell organelle in detail. So in the next class, we can start with the endoplasmic reticulum. And now we will discuss few objective questions related to today's class and also related to previous class, that is about the plasma membrane. So the first question, which of the following are not the component of plasma membrane? So these questions are related to the plasma membrane. The first question, which of the following are not the component of plasma membrane? Option A, sugar. Option B, protein. Option C, cholesterol. Option D, none of these. So here you can find within the plasma membrane there are sugars like carbohydrates, proteins are there, and cholesterol is nothing but lipids are there, and option D, none of these. So here none of these. Next question, which of the following membrane protein lie on the surface of the cell? Which of the following membrane protein lie on the surface of the cell? Option A, integral protein. Option B, peripheral protein. Option C, both A and B. Option D, glycoprotein. You know, if they are only present on the surface, they are called as a peripheral protein. So option B is correct. Next question, which of the following membrane protein are partially or totally buried in the cell membrane? If they are partially or completely buried, they are option A, integral proteins. Option B, peripheral proteins. Option C, both A and B. Option D, glycoprotein. If they are partially or completely buried, they are called as integral proteins. So option A is correct. Next question, the fluid mosaic model was given by Singer and Nicholson in the year option A 1972, option B 1976, option C 1982, option D 1986. So option A 1972, because S.J. Singer and G.N. Nicholson, they proposed the fluid mosaic model in the year 1972. So these are the few objective questions related to previous class and today's class. So in the next class onwards, we are starting with the organelles. We are starting from the endoplasmic